Good evening and welcome. Happy Monday. We're here at Butts Barbershop. Buddy William Butts, hold your hand up, sir, owns this fine establishment. We're also here with my great friends Ryan, Ray, and Dez. And, we're just going to have some man talk. Like I told you last week, we're just going to do something a little different. So, we're going to play our version of Pass the Mic and just want to hear, some of the trending topics that are going on and, just what's on their mind about certain things. So I'm going to pass this mic over to Dez. What's going on, Dez? How you feeling?
I'm good, man.
Okay,
I'm good.
right. So is anything you want to talk about? Anything that's been on your mind?
I mean, my man Ryan, he wanted to start with Black Unity, so that's that. I would say it definitely needs to be more Black Unity, and I think the problem with Black Unity is actually not a problem with Black Unity. It's a problem with the media and how the Black people are portrayed to each other, and a lot of people buy into that, like. They see shit going bad or whatever. They see things all bad, negativity, and they just jump on the bandwagon of it like that's how it's supposed to be. But in real life, it's really not like that. But the more people buy into it, it's like it's a gang. It just get bigger and bigger and bigger. But on the real, like most Black men I know are fathers. They take care of their kids. Most Black people I know are not doing dumb stuff in the community. It's like the media portray us a certain way. And I just feel like us as Black people can't buy into that. Love your peoples like you've been doing. Of course, there's always going to be a percentage of bad in any race. And Blacks, we have it. But the problem is the media take that percentage and they try to say, oh, this is all of us. And it's not. It's not. And I'm going to leave it at that.
That's a very deep topic. Black unity or the lack of Black unity. Like Dad said, I agree with you. The stereotypes are perpetuated with the media, and we kind of feed into that. We don't get along. We don't buy things from each other. We can't sell things to each other. We don't patronize each other. We don't show each other love. My disappointment comes in because it's a lot of things that happened in the past that should have unified us. A whole bunch of things going back to the assassination of our martyrs should have united us for forever. And in recent history, once Barack Obama was elected, I was expecting everybody to walk around speaking to each other, giving each other hugs and high fives and all that forever. After that, and then it happened. I was kind of disappointed, and I'm a little disappointed with the lack of unity in the Black community. And I'm wondering what do we need? What do we need to do to get us there? That's what I'm stuck on.
So I hope I don't bore the internet with this topic because I think a lot of people are asleep at the wheel. The time that we're in right now, a lot of folks don't even realize we are at a moment of peril. You know what I'm saying? I think that just like these brothers already said, what's perpetuated in the media is an image that they're feeding us of ourselves, and we eat it up, hook, line, and sinker every time for the most part. Reality TV is the wave. Folks are so caught up in attention. Attention is the new evil, right? So when we're talking about coming together, it's so hard for us to do because we are divided, and that there's lines being drawn for us, right? We just eating up this image of ourselves, and then some of us on one side of the line is like, they just ninjas, you know what I mean? They just the worst part of Black people. And on the other side of the line, they're like, yo, they think they too good, they bougie, they whatever. But in all actuality, us as a people are the most powerful people. We move culture. We are culture. We make things cool, including genocide, right? We make genocide cool. We make hating Black people cool, right? Where we don't acknowledge that there's levers that people allow us to, certain images, certain messages are magnified by people outside of our community, but they only want us to push certain messages. For instance, hip hop, right? Before it used to be a whole collection and super diverse. You had conscious rap, you had gangster rap, you had just like people that just like to have like crazy lyrics, right? But now it's like every hip hop artist is on drugs. Every hip hop artist got to be like a mass shooter, right? So all I'm saying is, what we talking about, what we need to really just come together and have a conversation amongst ourselves. Outside community got to be out, and we got to come up with our own agenda and leadership. Sorry, I don't know what the term was.
So my perspective on things, when we talk about unity in the black community, they always kind of change the narrative. You know understand when we coming up, sort of, they do something to change the narrative in the community. So let's go back to the 80s, 70s, 80s. We were on a kind of like a uprise. People going to school, families was getting married, things was happening, things was started trending in a good direction. Then what happened? Crack. You see what I'm saying? Crack came, killed a couple generations, guys got locked up, fathers wasn't in the house. I mean, it changed the narrative just in general with the black community. So you got to figure that was a down play. So again, we can even put it to Barack Obama. Barack Obama came in office. He was good. Everybody was haranguing. Hey, Barack Obama we going to get what happened the next election? The House changed, Congress changed, states, everything changed for Barack to even pass things through. It became so hard for him to go ahead and said, pass his agendas. People were like, well, what are you doing for us? That's what black people started saying. What Barack doing to us? Mm-hmm. He changed narratives. And we was talking about the rap music. At one time, we talked about rap music. We went from being the conscious black kings to being the gangsters. Now we the crackheads in the song. Mm-hmm. So, you got to think about the narrative that these agendas is pushing on to our peoples to distract us from being unified. So I think that when you talk about, all these narratives, I think we've got a social, economical, a couple other things that play a real role into ununifying blackness. So that's my perspective on everything.
Sounds good. Anybody else got any other feedback? Anything before we go on to our next topic? Anything?
Yeah, I think we could keep going on to expound and like give like a solution, so to speak, on a subject. It's definitely a divide between, more or less the have and the have nots. But in the black community, like we push culture. It's like that's really the only thing we own, but that's like the greatest currency because everybody with money buys culture. And it's like we dictate it. Like soon as any label or anybody do something that the community we don't feel like, we say no, that ain't cool no more. All it takes is one person to say, you still wear Lacoste Sportives, and it's done.
Do you think they still in our culture as far as? Sorry, let me see this mic. Do you think that like they're still in the culture? You know what I mean? When I mean still in the culture, like as soon as we make it hot, all of a sudden, they phase us out. Clothes wise, just another. Like I said, they always change the narrative when something becomes popular. We can now buy it. We can now make it. We can make it profitable. This another, and from something that was unique to something different, commercial. Like it's always something that just to keep your foot on the neck. I mean, we can talk about as far as art. We talk about music. We can talk about clothes. I mean, everything. Like it's a lot.
So they monetize it, right? That's what it really is. We create it, they sell it, right? They sell it, or they use it, they co-opt it, they run into the ground, and we just make something else. We don't make money off of it, but we are the ones who create. We are the creators, right? And everybody else comes up with their system. It's important for me to say, because I'm mad I ain't said it before, white supremacy is a powerful thing. Right, white supremacy is a system that Obama, like him being the first black president, first black president. What does that really mean? Of the laws in the country that's created, stolen from the Native Americans. You know what I'm saying? These laws that don't even count us as black, like full human beings. he's the president, right? So he's a president of this white supremacist system. So I'm just saying all of this is built on that.
One of the solutions that I thought of years ago, and it's crazy because we talk about white supremacy in this country. Sometimes you're hesitant to talk about solutions because lots of times when some of us step up and start talking about solutions and start talking about progressive, something mysteriously happens to us. So I'm gonna take a risk right now on the internet and say this. What black folks, what black people need, we need a central entity that speaks for us. Every other, every race or every unit has something that speaks up for them when something wrong happens to them. We don't have that.
We used to. But
No. Now I know what you're gonna say.
It got commercial. It got
What?
Co-op. Yeah.
Well, we need a strong black unit that represents us as a people. So when something goes wrong with one of us, we can say, all right, listen, this is how we want to handle it. We're gonna give you an opportunity to handle it first. But if y'all don't handle it in the right way, we're gonna handle it.
So RZA, I just want to say one thing though. I only have to take the mic. Anytime I'm just going to give you a rebuttal for most black people of a certain age. Anytime that we come up with something central, that only creates a target for them to go after. Right. Yeah, whether it's a person to kill, right, or whether it's an idea for them to discredit or take away from. Yeah. Right.
So that's why I said an entity. We need a group.
Or slander.
We need a group.
Yeah.
All right. So that's all. That's all I wanted to say. That's the solution.
And you know, like, just to further go from there, what they were saying, like, every time we try to start a movement, it is diffused, and it's kind of like, not to get biblical, but it's kind of like when Moses led the people out of captivity and they was in the wilderness. I don't know if a lot of y'all know Bible stories, but when they was in the wilderness, like, they had no idea what to do, and it's like they kind of had to find the God within their self. And right now, black people in America are like kind of lost in the wilderness, so to speak. We believe in everything. We're not unified. So what you have to do is find a God within yourself, and then he'll guide you out of the wilderness, and that'll unify us more, you know, because like y'all said, as soon as we get a leader, they're going to take them out. As soon as we get an organization that's pushing positive, they're going to take it out. So what we got to do is build from within. Start with yourself and your family.
Thanks, guys. Great take on a lot of that stuff. I've talked about, I don't want to say ad nauseum about a lot of that stuff, but definitely because, and like Ray was saying, you know, for me, it's always a give and take because I don't want to give too much as far as saying too much. And also, too, with you all guys, because once you get in front of a camera, you make yourself subject to other people's opinions. And, you know, I just want to make sure, because I know we all have jobs in here, and I don't want anybody to, you know, but I mean, so far, I think we're safe. I think we're good. But ultimately, I've said this before, and I think when you have a culture of people, a group of people that don't know where they really come from. And what I mean by that is that the easy answer is to say, oh, we all from Africa. And I get that. All civilization is supposedly from Africa, or it's from Africa. But only thing I know is Georgia. That's the roots of where I know my people from. Oh, we from Georgia. Oh, your grandma and a great grandma is from Columbus, Georgia. So, you know, it becomes a thing where it's just years and years of, in reality, not knowing your full self. So when you don't know your full self, how can you be a whole in any society? Right. When I used to work with people, they would say, oh, yeah, well, my grandmother's from Ireland. My dad's from Germany. So they can trace it back to somewhere that's outside of America. When a lot of times us, as a lot of people like to say now, foundational Black Americans, we don't have that type of association necessarily, because people will look at Africa as a continent, but there are many countries in Africa. And, you know, as Ryan, because I know Ryan where'd you go to, Ryan? Ghana? Was it Ghana? Ghana, Senegal, Morocco. So yeah, Ryan's a world traveler also, so he just got back. But hey, so we're already at our 15 minute mark. So I'm gonna pass the mic over to our next topic that Des has chosen to talk about.
Puff Daddy. We might as well bring it up. You know, the elephant in the room. You know, I'll say more or less, I'm not going to judge anything about the case or the details of the case. I'm not going to judge any of that. What I see is a prime example of you get away with stuff for so long that they're going to get you for the smallest thing. And, you know, one way or another, whether he beat the charges or not, they still going to get him for the smallest thing. Like, he's going to pay for all that bad business he did back in the day with all them artists from Biggie to Pac to Craig Mack to everything he was involved in. Everybody he ever done wrong, like, is karma. And, you know, the more bad dealings you do, the harder karma's going to come back and get you. Like you could really literally get away with stealing $1 million. Then you'll go home and somebody stole something from you that's very important. Like, that's just the universe. It's all about energy. You put out a lot of bad energy, you're going to get it back. And it could be the smallest thing or your least expecting time. But I just think Diddy's a victim of bad karma. I'll pass. I'll leave it at that.
Okay. Yeah. Well, why you have this still have your
So I just think that, and excuse me, I know you say it's karma. I just want to is the one thing that I have that kind of strikes me is just why just Diddy. You know what I mean? Because I'm sure, and I'm almost positive that there's more people out there that did a lot. That's in places of spaces, places of importance. That they're not talking about. Abercrombie and Fitz, that just got kind of wiped under the table. They got bail. I'm sure there's a lot of congressmen, senators out there, probably even some presidents who done some worse stuff. So why is it that Diddy got isolated to this one particular thing that he did? And then on top of it, the cohorts inside the case, why aren't they being prosecuted? So you're going to give few immunities to somebody who was definitely involved in it. You know what I mean? Like, to me, it becomes, confusing.
So with Puffy's situation, it's kind of it's a kind of hard thing for me to reconcile because I remember him going to Howard. Like, I distinctly him throwing that party in New York. I've been following Puffy's career since the early '90s, right? And he's always been a dude I looked up to. He's always kind of wore his reputation on his shoulders as far as being demanding, being a businessman, being an a-hole, right? But the one thing that I see is, well, a couple things. One, you always got to treat people good because eventually that karma that you were referring to is going to come back and get you. But the other piece is never forget your place as a black man, no matter how much money you get, no matter how powerful you are. That's that OJ syndrome, right? You're not black, you OJ. So yeah, there's plenty of other people. There's governors, senators, you know what I'm saying? Educators, there's all types of celebrities who do like crazy, cruel, mean, nasty things. Mm-hmm. But as a black man, you want to be at the forefront, pushing culture, like he's at that forefront. You can never forget your place in that. He's on camera beating a sister down. Like, and I don't get into who's wrong and who's right with the Cassie thing. I ain't into that bedroom situation at all. Whatever he want to do is his business. But at the same time, beating on the sister, I got a daughter, I got a mom that I love. Those things ain't cool. Does he need to go to jail for 20 years? Not sure. But you always got to treat people the right way. You can never forget your place because as black men, we subject to get all this stuff taken away from us at any given time. White supremacy.
When you do all the right things, and you're trying to do all the right things, but you got a little stuff behind closed doors. Mm-hmm. Once you open your mouth, once you try to come out and do something progressive, that's when it come get you. Mm-hmm. The karma's there, yes. However, we all have to understand that.
What do you mean when you say progressive, something progressive?
Okay, I'm gonna tell you. The three examples that I can think of black men who have gotten in trouble, the reason they did what they did, but the reason that the trouble came to the light is because they were trying to do something that was progressive for their people. Bill Cosby was trying to buy NBC. Tyler Perry got a whole network that he's employing a whole bunch of black folks. Even they're saying that R. Kelly even was trying to buy his masters or something like that. He was trying to make a move. Puffy, when he opened his mouth talking about he wanted to start his own political party, can't do that, buddy. Can't do that. You can have all of this, but you can't do that. You're not going to do that. Somebody probably told him, slow down, you can't do that. And then him being Puffy, he got all, in his feelings, and I'm going to do it anyway. Now, I'm going to say that to say this. As us, we talk about the Puffy situation, and we get people get into a lot of debates about it, about whether he's wrong with this everything, and we kind of mix up what he did with Cassie and what he was being charged for. I look at it like this. Sean Combs was the guy on trial for alleged sex trafficking in Rico. Puff Daddy was the guy that was on tape, Cassie. Puff Daddy, the abuser, Sean Combs, the defendant in the federal case. We have to learn to separate those two. It's not the same. So sometimes people will look at him supposedly beating these federal charges as, oh, he got away with beating up Cassie. That's not the same thing. It's not the same thing. So we have to, first of all, understand that, number one, he got in all this trouble because he got in all this trouble because he did what he did. But it came to light because he opened his mouth about trying to help out black people. But now you got a Fed case, and you got the case with Cassie. You already settled that, whatever, but it's still an ethical, moral thing over here. So I say this to say, we as a people, we have to look at it like, just because I agree with the verdict and I hope he doesn't do the time, does not mean I'm co-signing for what Puffy did. Combs, the defendant, I'm glad he kind of got, justice was served pretty much. But Puffy Combs, but you need to work on Puff Daddy, you need to work on your old anger situation and abusing of women. We don't, that's not allowed. It's not acceptable.
I definitely agree with what you're saying about, far as when you get too far ahead of yourself, the business things you're trying to do, they're going to target you. And there's something to be said about that, because a lot of famous black men are becoming under attack, a target. Now you could isolate each individual case and look at every little thing they did. But then when you look back, the whole scope of it as one, something to it. You know what I'm saying? It's definitely like, we can look at what R. Kelly did. We can look at what they say Jay-Z did, what they say Tyler Perry did, what they said Michael Jackson did. We can look at what they say everybody did individually. But when you look at it as a scope, it's like, you see what I'm saying? There's definitely something going on. Yeah. Because regardless, and it's like any type of essay or crimes, kind of, you can't really prove. It's like that's the easiest topic for them to get you on, because you really is they word against yours at some point. And you know what I'm saying? And they always got us on them, going back to Mike Tyson.
So do you think it's a thing? It's a cultural thing with just black men, or is it black celebrity, or what is it?
I think that's the easiest way for them to knock you down, And I to give advice, because I'm always going to be solution based. I'm always looking for advice to it. Young, successful black man, get married, stay with your wife, stay with your family, parade them around in public. LeBron James type situation, You got to know how to protect yourself. A strong woman will protect you out here, also with your family. It protects your image, and watch what you're doing. Like, if you play that bachelor life, and I don't know, man, it's just, I definitely think it's something to it.
The common theme, as you just said, all those guys you just said, if you think about it, everybody you just talked about was about to make a move. Yeah. Was in the midst of a move or about to make a powerful move that was going to uplift the whole race.
Right.
So
in one way or another.
In one way or the other, it was going to happen. It was going to go down.
Mm-hmm. I can't think of anything else. All right. Well, kind of know how my people kind of already know because I was getting comments in the middle of the night, dozens of them about my stance on it. And if you want to find out my stance, go back and look at it. Because guess what? We got about 9,000 views on that one, so it was a pretty hot topic. So that's one of the reasons why I wanted the guys to kind of address it. And it has been a polarizing case where some people hate them or for it, or they don't like them, or some people stand by them. The one thing I'll say is that I just want it to be, and I know it's not a fair country, but hopefully, it can get to a place where there is more of an even kill playing field. Because even when I think about the Jeffrey Epstein thing that we covered, where this guy slept with or transported over 1,000 young women, most of them underage. So a lot of the comments I got was Diddy's a monster. And I said, well, I guess compared to Epstein, he's the cookie monster. But hey, we'll see, But hey, listen, I'm glad you tuned in. This is part one. And hey, we'll be back tomorrow with part two. Thanks, guys.